Okay. We are live and it's very good to be back with Women's Cricket Live with Trishadi. And obviously, Trishadi is in England. I think most of all you know that Trishadi is in England covering the both men's and women's Indian cricket because Trishadi was there for the first T20I. But obviously, due to all lot of works during in the men's
Yes.
ongoing men's test series. So Tushadi is now currently is outside of the Edgbaston Stadium where India just now managed to bowl out to England, and hopefully India can take the game further away with the better batting performance in their second innings. But now our focus is on the third T20I of the women's cricket team. The Indian women have been superb. I think most of us didn't expect that kind of performance in the first two matches, the way they have bowled, they have batted, especially the batted. So my first question to Ishadi, it will be like, what did you expect this kind of performance in the first two matches the way they have did? Because I thought somewhere they outplayed England some in some crunch situations, especially.
They outplayed England in all situations, I think, and it was a little bit expected. In the batting, definitely was expected, especially because when we were at the practice nets, when we went to watch
Hmm.
the practice, all of them were absolutely in form, and you could clearly see that the message was clear. I've always said, Snehakish, if the message is clear, if you know your role, then it becomes easier. For example, Harleen was fantastic in the first match.
Yes.
That's because Harleen knew that her role was that she has to be the anchor as well as the aggressor at the same time. And somewhere I'm quite sure she also knew that she only had one match as a chance, because the moment Herman is back, it would be
Yes.
completely. I mean, she would be out of the team. The good part is she used the chance. And the other, obviously, again at number three, Jemima Rodriguez was fantastic. But I mean, nobody can say that that was surprising. I mean, Jemima will be
Yes.
good at number three is something we all know. Uh,
Yes.
Interesting would be who comes out at number three today. I'm more interested in that, to be very honest, because if India is in a good position, high chances the captain might come out to bat at
Hmm.
number
Hmm.
three. And I would say that that would be again unfair on Jemmy. She should be kept at number three. But yeah, bowling
Absolutely.
did surprise me. It's not
Hmm.
like bowling
Hmm.
didn't. But what did not surprise me was, of course, the England batting. We all
Hmm.
knew that Heather Knight missing, Nat Siver not in great form would have ended up. And when I say Nat Siver is not in great form, that's because I was seeing the practice, and in the practice as well, you could see that Nat Siver was kind of very unhappy with her own practice. I think I had written to you saying that uh, she
Hmm.
was
Yes.
she was a little unhappy. Power hitting, of course, Nat Siver does mean a lot, but Snehashi's interesting part is today even Nat Siver is not there.
Yes, absolutely. I think that is going to be a huge, huge loss for them, especially when you are down 0-2 in the series. Because if you lost this match, the series is gone. And I think this is the best chance for India to seal the series today because you don't want the home team to make a comeback. Because if you let England make a comeback today, then it will be tricky in the upcoming two games. So I think that is the part. But Tushari, as you mentioned, the bowling. I think when you saw the squad for this tour, we knew that it is going to be tough from the bowling department perspective because your top experienced bowlers are not there. Suppose like Renuka Thakur, obviously Pooja is yet to recover from her injury. Sriyanka is still injured. Asha is not there. Titas is also not there. Another good prospect. But the way the young bowling unit assembled and bowled, I think it was superb. Especially Amanjot as an all-rounder, the way she batted yesterday under that pressure, obviously, I think Jamie should be credited. The way, and I think
But
Amanjot
Amanjot
also
and
said the
Nisha
same.
too.
Yes, and Amanjot also said the same in the press. But overall, the bowling in Sweet Charity. What about her, Tushadi? I think she has been tremendous with the ball.
You remember the first match that we covered in Sri Charani's? She was playing for Delhi Capitals,
Yes.
and I had said it's such a relief to see somebody actually give rev to the ball, which is
Mm.
how spinners are supposed to do, bowl. something that modern spinners don't do, because of course they are so concerned about the T20 bowling, getting in variations, bouncers, yorkers, that they forget the main part, which is giving revs to the ball, bowling at the correct line and length. And she's absolutely a traditional old school spinner, and her success speaks volumes about one thing for sure, that we had moved away from the traditional bowling because it was not working. You needed to adjust for T20, but we have ended up adjusting so much that now traditional
Mhm.
bowling has actually become tougher to play, because the moment somebody gives revs to the ball, the other part, of course, there's a no revs, the moment. Um, and the other part is because England is a very breezy and windy condition. So there, once you give that revs to the ball that we are talking about, that helps the bowler. And I think that way Sri Charani has been absolutely, absolutely at the top.
Yes, absolutely. But when a young spinner like Ensri Chani doing so well for India, I think for England, I think Sophie Eccleston hasn't done enough in this series so far. So, what kind of issues is there? Do you think that coming back from injury or something is that affecting her?
I think the fact that everybody knows she's not going to turn the ball is now going against her, because you don't play for turn, you don't wait for turn. It's mostly gonna and Indian pitches are not pitches that help spinners, right? So
Yes.
it's not like she'll suddenly get a bounce or something of that sort. It's very even surface. You know what Sophie will do, and that is where I think Sophie has not been able to produce any variations as such. Her speeds, I think, is something that needs to be looked into. I feel she's bowling a tad bit faster, which is unnecessary because the pitches here are anyway pretty fast. So when you hit the ball, it stays hit. So that part is, I think, important. And you spoke about Aman Jot. I think, Snehashish, we have always said that if
Mhm.
anybody in the Indian team can replace Pooja Wastrakar
Yes.
in an all round position, that would be Aman Jot Kaur. And I think she has done it so well. She was working on her loading. It's good to
Mhm.
see that she has been getting, and the important part is that she's getting wickets right up front. So
Yes.
what that does is makes it easier for the spinners when they're coming in.
Yes, and ahead of this tour, I think that was the worrying part that you don't have a Renuka Thakur, you don't have a strike bowler who can give you early wickets in those power play overs, which is very much needed across any formats of the game. And I think that role has been given to Amanjot, and she has been delivering superbly so far in these two matches. Absolutely. But moving on, Shadi, the new era England. We were discussing about it, and it started so brilliantly. Against West Indies, demolished them in both the format T20Is and ODIs. But the way these two matches have gone, is this a reality check for Charlotte Edwards and Nat Brand? It's not like everything is perfect. We have to work a little more.
Of course, they know that they have to work a little more, and I don't think they will be. To be honest, the way England approaches the game, I don't think they would be bothered about these two losses, because, especially because even if they lose the entire series, I don't think they will be much bothered, because they will think this is not the T20I World Cup year. Next year is the T20I World Cup year. I think they will
Yeah.
be more worried about the ODI series. As far as T20
Mhm.
team is concerned, I don't even think that this will be the T20 team that England will be playing. But if yes, of course, you can see certain experimentations. I mean, it is baffling that Charlie Dean hasn't played, and I'm quite
Yes.
sure that Charlie Dean hasn't played because Charlotte Edwards is somehow trying to. So there is a. I mean, this is my gut feeling that Charlotte Edwards has a certain ODI World Cup squad in mind, and she does
Mhm.
not want to I mean, overplay them or play them in T20I, especially. Say for example, Natsivar Brunt is a good example. She's out with a groin injury, and of course Charlotte Edwards knew about it. That is where she had said, in the West Indies series itself, that she's not going to bowl in the T20Is because that's not important right now. And
Yes,
that is why England is playing two spinners. Next year, when the World Cup eventually happens, I don't think that England is going to go for Lindsay Smith and Sophie Eccleston together. Uh, so that is where Charlie Dean, quite possible, because Charlie Dean brings in the batting as well. So that's where
absolutely.
I feel today you will probably see her coming in. But again, as of now, I feel Charlotte Edwards is concentrating more on ODIs, and that's where the workload management, is happening for the T20I
Mhm.
team. Writing off
Absolutely.
England just on the basis of these two T20Is, I think
Not.
would be absolutely crazy thing to do.
Yes, and this Charlie factor, the same question has been arised by Heather Knight also, that why not Charlie in the mix, because she has that experience, and she is more penetrative than Lindsay Smith, whatever she has done so far in these two matches. So hopefully, let's see whether she comes or not in this game. But Tushadi, you were in that practice, before the first match in Nottingham, and you provided us a beautiful video where Easy Wang practicing from round the wicket, with her bowling. So we were discussing, that maybe this might be the plot to counter Smriti Mandana, round the wicket against the left-hander and with the outswinger and in-swinger mix of both. So, but no Easy Wang so far in the lineup. So is that surprise for you?
I'm actually not very surprised, because I do think the body language that I saw of the England team while practicing, I wouldn't say that they were hugely, concerned about the. And when I say concerned, it's not like I'm saying they're taking India easy or something of that sort. It's just that there's a lot of fitness talk around the England team, which is where
Okay.
I think even Charlotte Edwards knows that a lot of England players probably are not 100% at that fitness level where they can, go around playing T20Is, ODIs, and then again play the ODI World Cup. Because what happens in a World Cup year is what happens in a World Cup is you have a lot of traveling to do as well. And
Yes.
especially when it comes to pacers, the other part, of course, is that there won't be too many gaps between matches probably. There will be traveling, and India is not an easy place for pacers. They have to work very, very hard. So I think that's one thing. The other thing is Isi Wong. I do see Isi Wong bowling very soon, probably this T20I or maybe the next T20I. But also, one more reason probably she's not in the team is because she's from Mumbai Indians. I mean, she has played in Mumbai Indians, and there are a number of Mumbai Indians batters in the Indian team. I mean, take for example
Okay.
Amanjot Kaur,
Yes.
Harmanpreet Kaur. They have already, and they are India's main batters. So I think
Yes.
they would know how to play Isi Wong pretty well, because they must have played her n number of times in the net. So I think that decision is also taken very consciously. In ODIs, it's a completely different thing, Snehashish. But in
Yes.
one dayers, and also in place of whom are you gonna take? It's not like I mean, Lauren Bell. We had discussed she will be
Super.
fantastic, and she is superb. Somebody who's in that good a rhythm, you don't want to replace her all of a sudden for no apparent reason. Maybe in place of Lauren Filer, but I still have my doubts, because even Em Arlott is doing so well. Why would you want to replace her?
And A Mallat will give you the batting depth also. She
Exactly.
can
Em
hit the ball.
Arnold will give you the batting. Plus, I do think that the ball is coming out of her hand beautifully. And I was seeing her in the net, but she was so far off that I did not want to send you ants practicing. But to be honest, when she was practicing, you could see in the run up. Um, Sneha, as a bowler, I think the moment you see somebody's run up, you can say that the bowler is going to do well. In fact, I was talking to Rohan, who is now loitering around, and we are all waiting for the press conference here. But honestly speaking, Rohan and I were talking, of course, about the men's team here, and I was explaining to him that the moment you see that run up, Siraj got 6 wickets, for
You can
example.
feel.
So yeah, exactly. Siraj in his practice run-up, you could completely see the rhythm. Akashdeep, you could see the rhythm. Siraj in the second spell, you could see the rhythm. In the same way, when you see Arlott bowling, you can see the way she's approaching the wicket. You can see her run up, and you can say she's in very, very good shape. and mentally she is in a very very focused and good place, which is fantastic. So I think the only option for Izzy Wong to come in probably would be Filer. Also, if Izzy Wong comes in, there's one problem. I think Izzy Wong does Izzy Wong is a bit of Darcy Brown for
Hmm.
England, so probably they don't want that inconsistency to affect her as well as the team directly. But today, high chances, I think, especially because Smriti did get out in a very similar fashion
Hmm.
last game.
Yes. The last game, the plan was evident, like using the hard lane, using the short balls. So I think the England bowlers came out at least better prepared than the first game in the last game. So, but again, I think they failed to get the wicket of that partnership that Amanjot and Jemima managed to do. But Tushadi,
In the first
when
game,
it
you're
comes to
right.
Team
In the
India,
first game, I thought England was very shabby with their planning. In the first game, they came
yes,
out
and
like
fielding,
nursery graders,
fielding.
unplanned. Absolutely.
And fielding, Tushadi. So
Oh,
bad fielding in the first game. I think
absolutely.
they are very
I
bad.
mean, they reminded of the John Lewis end of era fielding.
Yes, and around that first T20, John Lewis got sacked by UP Warriors also. So UP Warriors are also looking for a new coach. Okay, but moving on to Team India,
It was
Tushadi.
a mutual decision,
Shefali
or
Verma,
was
you know.
he sacked?
Mm-hmm.
He was sacked, or it was a mutual decision to part ways?
You know what is
Okay,
mutual decision is like.
okay,
Yeah.
got
Yes.
it.
Yes.
Point noted.
Okay. Okay. Moving on. Tisha, Shefali Verma, before this series, when the name came, everyone was so happy that she is back, and especially considering the T20Is. But what is going on? Two opportunities are gone.
It's so
She is looking
unfortunate.
a bit rusty.
See, the problem is Shafali was practicing for these deliveries itself. What
Yes.
exactly is stopping her from and when she was batting, in fact, Devashida was there with me. Devashida
Hmm.
actually gave me looks twice and was like, weren't you telling me, because we did a live just before we entered the Indian practice session, and I was all like, you know what, this is where Shafali has to make that redemption, because this is where her short ball issues were found out,
Fine.
blah blah. And in the third net, Shafali and Smriti Mandan are practicing. Shafali is hitting the full hook to the precise and that sound of the bat, that middle, when it hits the middle. And I could literally see Devashida looking at me and goes like, I thought you said that that was a problem for her. I said, yeah, it was, but good to see that she has worked on it. But again, in the match, I think she's just trying to do too much.
So much.
She has said, I want to put a price on my wicket. I think she has read it completely wrong in the head. What Indian team needs to do, to be very, very honest, is give her a little bit of a longer rope. It's not easy to make a comeback. It's not like she's not trying. What I think is it's I think I've said this in the after the first T20I, that you can see that there's an inner battle that's happening. I think she needs
Hmm.
one or two matches. And the other thing that she does need to do, if I was Shafali, what I would want to do ideally is for one match at least, just give the strike to Smriti and play out the power play. Maybe then things become a little easier, because by then I am there in the crease and maybe I'm 6 of 6 or 7 of 7. See, Shafali at any point of time can launch and that make that 7 of 7
Yes.
80 or 40. There is
Yes.
no reason why she can't do it. So I think the occasion is big for her, because for how long is the Indian team gonna carry her? These 5 matches will be very important, because there are, thanks to WPL, you will have openers as well, you will have options as well. So that is where, and not only WPL, remember Snehashish, now almost every single state has their own franchisee league as well.
Yes.
So there are so many franchising leagues, so many teams, so many openers, that Prince of World missed this duo so much. Thank you so much, Prince of World, for
Thank
joining
you.
us. Well, as I said, I mean, there has to be a limit where she can get chances, and there has to be a limit of her getting out to the same kind
Agree.
of ball. Everybody knew that that was the trap that was being laid on her. Why did she come out? She had the time in the world, and you have Smriti Mandana in the best of her forms. For God's sake, you can just take singles and give it to her.
Absolutely. I think that is a very important part, that you are getting out in a similar fashion, and you are not getting improved in that part. I think that is the most worrying part about this. But hopefully she will make a comeback, and this is the same exact problem that she was going through in the WPL also. She was trying so hard. She was going for those quick big shots, in the power play overs. But I think absolutely,
But
I absolutely
Priyanka,
agree
in
with
the
Vishal.
WPL, the difference was, this is why I mentioned Smriti Mandana's form. In WPL, the difference was Meg Lanning was having a horrible WPL. To be
Yes,
very honest, Meg Lanning standard, I think this was the worst series that Meg Lanning had. And that is why I do understand why Shafali must have been under
yes,
pressure, thinking that, oh, you know what, I have to do it all on my own, because
yes,
obviously Meg Lanning is not in a situation where we can give a good start to Delhi Capital. But here,
yes,
that's not the case. Smriti Mandana is in brilliant form. In the first two matches, even your number three has shown that they are in good forms. Amanjot has shown that she is in a very good frame of mind. So has been Richa Ghosh. So I think this T20I, the first thing that Shafali should look to do is take more. Hit the gaps instead of trying to
yes.
go for those big
Buy some
hoiks.
time. Buy some time early
Absolutely.
into the innings.
And I think once Sunil Gavaskar had said this in the commentary, I guess that I think somebody was getting out and going, and he said the line that, look, if you have to get back on to form, you have to be there in the crease, because in the practice nets you are not making runs. That's for sure.
Yes, yes, absolutely. Absolutely. It all matters when you are scoring in the match, not in the practice sessions. But but overall, Trishati, some visuals have been coming from from the Indian camp, and I think it is very good considering how the mood should be in a camp, especially ahead of the World Cup, because everything is now happening. The main focus is the upcoming Uday World Cup. And Trishari, you can see the videos where teams are engaging in fun activities, six sitting competitions. And yesterday I saw bowl out competition, and the bowling coach was saying that why should batters have all the fun? So that now batters have to bowl. So, and I think you will be very happy to hear that. I
I
know
have
that.
always said this. My life's motto: why should batters have all the fun? In fact,
Yes.
that is where I was debating the umpire's call with Rohan very seriously. And I remember somebody random actually came and said, please don't argue with each other. And I'm like, no, no, we are not arguing. I'm just explaining. Because I was full on passionate. You know what happens to me when it comes to bowling. So I was talking about bowling and umpire's calls. You can imagine my hands and eyes moving all.
Yes, but Trishana, the question is the atmosphere, the fun activities happening and all. Do you think the group is gelling well ahead of the World Cup? Do you think these two wins and the overall the way the group is looking, the way you have seen in two matches, the group is looking good ahead of the World Cup? That tempo, the everything.
Absolutely, and to be honest, this entire team has played with each other for a long time now. So
Hmm.
it's not like that they are newly getting inducted or something like that. And for someone like Shri Charani, the fact that Shafali is there in the dressing room, Radha Yadav is there, Jemima Rodriguez. I think this, more than what Amol Mazumdar and the other support staffs are doing, the other half of it, not taking anything away from them, but the other half of it, of course, is the fact that WPL has, is there in the fold. So if you see a Richa Ghosh already plays with Smriti Mandana, not only in the Indian team, which is for half the year or more than half the year. Now add 2 months of WPL to that, and you are
Yes.
with someone for 8 9 months in a year. That's a lot of months to know someone. That's a lot of months to know when to talk to a person, when to not go and talk to a person. Because I've seen that, in the practice session, the moment Smriti finished her practice, she just just went out of the nets, and for some time she stood alone and nobody came and spoke to her. After that, she just walked She was just walking towards the other net, and that is when Shafali, Radha, and everyone started having fun with her, started joking. So these things that when to talk to a person, when to leave that person, to their own thoughts. Because let's face it, all of them are elite level cricketers, so they will have their own time of regrouping. For example, Harleen, when she got hit in that, finger, people came and asked if you are
Yeah.
okay, and then they just went away because Harleen was standing there and you could see she was visibly upset that she got hit. Probably in her head, she was thinking that if this stops me from making the playing 11,
Mm.
somewhere, I'm sure they knew that Harman was not in a situation where she would make it to the playing 11.
Yes.
There, Harleen knew that she would get the chance, and she was waiting there. In fact, she was standing outside the nets where they were practicing big hitting, and you could see that nobody was actually asking her anything. The moment Amanjot and Jemmy came out of that net, all they did was say, "Are you okay?" And you could see Hurling did not want to speak. She wanted to focus on the big hitting, so she just went like that, wore her gloves, went to the nets, and smashed the ball.
Smash.
She
Yes.
smashed it absolutely. And the moment she was playing that, I was like, you know what? She should be there in the team.
And we show that how well she smashed in the match also in the first opening game. She was superb with the catch.
Absolutely.
But two matches we saw India batting fast. In this game, do you want to see India chasing a different aspect?
Yeah, I think India ideally should do both the sides so that
Mhm.
when they come back for the World Cup next year, there should not be any doubts in the mind. It should be very very clear in the head. So I think that part is extremely important. So yeah, I think also the other thing that I noticed was the way Smriti has taken up the leadership role in the team,
Yes.
talking to the young girls, speaking to them. And when I say young, I'm not saying they're inexperienced. I would say they're young in the sense by age, by exposure. Someone like Smriti has come and played in this country. Someone like Jemmy has played in this country. Jemmy, obviously, for me, is an automatic leadership choice because she has that about her. She speaks to everyone. She's having fun all the time. In fact, for me, one of the best moments was watching Jemima and Radha Yadav and Deepti Sharma take boundary catches. They were having this catching practice. They had almost put Amol Mazumdar under pressure. They're like, नहीं 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 ये कैच आप सही नहीं दे रहे हो हमें ऐसा कहते हैं Amal Majumdar is like, मैं दे तो रहा हूँ इतना क्या मतलब they wanted precise catches and they won't go. Amal Majumdar is like, हाँ हो गया अभी हो गया यार, but they're like नहीं नहीं मुझे एक और दो. So Deepti says no no मुझे दो कोई. So finally Amal Majumdar was like, I thought you're gonna pad up, just go. So they're having fun, they're enjoying as long as that happens. But also, Snehashish, I do want to see Yastika get a game,
Hmm.
because I do think that Richa is your first choice. Absolutely agree. But what happens, God forbid, if Richa is injured? Yastika
Hmm.
has not played any game. Maybe not today, because today could be the deciding game. But if you have won the series, if you have sealed the series, then I do
Yes.
think that Yastika should get a game.
Absolutely, and that was my next question to you. That if somehow India managed to win today and fill the series, so that will give them the opportunity to use some new faces. Obviously, Yastika is not a new face, but at least you can try it hard. And Kranti Gaur, for someone like Kranti Gaur, I think that will be a huge exposure for her, to get a chance to bowl in England. Uh, Obviously, a young prospect, a pacer, and another option if she does well. So that will be huge also. So I think that is all. And moving on, anything comment is there? Neil, any
Yeah, let's.
comment is there, Neil?
I'm sure there'll be some comments. Who will
Let's
be the
see.
key bowlers for India in this match? I think key bowlers for India in the series ही बोल देती हूँ मैं पवन सुरेश, Amanjot and Sri Charan, and not only here. I think even in the World Cup, Sri Charan, Sneh Rana, and your Amanjot will be extremely extremely important in Indian
Absolutely.
conditions as well as in English conditions.
Absolutely. Okay, next. Hmm, इंडियन वोमेन इंग्लैंड वोमेन टू स्पिन में फंस रही है. सेम इंडियन मेन के कुलदीप को लेके
कर सकते हैं लेकिन
सेट्रिक
करना नहीं चाहते ना कॉमिक ईयर, अभी क्या कर सकते हैं।
हम लोग का इतना बड़े बड़े क्रिकेटर पागल हो गए, बोल बोल के थक गए, फिर भी इंडिया नहीं लेगा भाई।
और कॉमिक ईयर आज अगर ये गेम 587 करने के बाद आप कहीं
हाँ,
सेकेंड इनिंग्स में कुछ बैटिंग के साथ कोलैप्स हो गया और आप जीत नहीं पाए, देन
यस,
इंग्लैंड वाज 84 फॉर 5, ये जो आपने बात कही ना ये खलेगी बाद में अगर इंडिया सीरीज हार गई तो। नहीं हारी तो बहुत अच्छी बात है कि निकल गया चलो सीरीज।
ओके। आई थिंक और उतना कमेंट्स नहीं है, हाँ नील?
Trisha
ओके,
Lee, as your prediction, who will be
prediction
the
both the
standout
standard
player
player
for
for
both the
both
teams?
teams. Okay,
Lauren Bell, England, and and for India, of course, Jemima. अब इतना क्या सोचना है यार, for
I
India, Jemima.
expecting only this name only. कि only Jemima will come out. Okay. नील আর কিছু আছে comment? No, I will wrap up. India will first no ball five wicket. India no
No
wicket in
wicket
between.
will be
Ah, good observation. Yes, good observation. I think talking
ah
about the test match.
okay. Anything on the women's
Okay.
game, Neil? Otherwise, I'll go back actually.
Yes, we will wrap. So windy out there.
Oh, it's terrible. Like I am actually sitting. I'm not standing and talking because so that I can keep my leg and hold the tripod.
Okay. Okay. I think the comments all are done and dusted. So thank you, Tushari. Thank you everyone for joining in. Hopefully, India can
We
seal
will
the
not
series
do a
tonight.
post show in the middle of the night because it's night for me, it's middle of the night for you guys. But
Yes.
what we will
But
do, what
but
I'll
one
do
report
is
will
I will
come.
take an
One match
analysis.
report will come.
The
Yes.
match report will be there, and I will be sending an analysis for tomorrow morning India time, and we will get back again, Snehashish, just before the fourth T20I.
Exactly. Exactly. Nothing more to add, as MS Dhoni said once. So thank you. Thank you for joining in. Let's meet before the 40 today. Thank you.
Thank you so much.